Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be continuing into part 15 of What If Goku Was Born as a Super Saiyan. If you haven't seen part 14, there is a title card where you can go check it out and see what happened in the last part, but today we'll be going into the Moro arc. How will they face off this threat? Without Majin Buu, what could they do to stop Moro? For those who are interested, I own a Discord server for anyone who wants to join and talk more about Dragon Ball with me and other viewers. Maybe give out some of your own ideas of what ifs, and maybe in the future, I could do them. Check the link in the description down below. Today's question of the video is from Mystic Gaming. My one question to you: besides the Saiyan race, what other race would you want to be and why? And I'm between two right now. I'm between Cerealian, so what Granola is, mainly because his abilities that come with their race is actually really cool to use. So that's for him. And my other option would be an android. If people would consider that a race, I would like to either be an android or Cerealian. Androids, mainly the factor that they have basically unlimited stamina, so they kind of never really get tired. So between one of those two, I feel like those would be, I guess, the best race to pick out of, the Frieza race wouldn't be bad. I would like to stay looking like a normal human, I guess. But yeah, that would be my answer. Either Cerealian or Android. Both of those to me are my top options. Thank you for your comment, and if you want your comment to be featured in my next video, just comment down any question you would like to ask me, and there will be a possibility that your question will be answered in the start of one of my videos. And without further ado, let's dive into part 15 of What If Goku Was Born as a Super Saiyan. After they won the Tournament of Power, everyone would return back onto their home planet, and the Saiyans would stay on their own world for a bit, training with each other. One day, during a training session between Kakarot, Vegeta, and Broly, they were about to start a fight between the three, as Kakarot wanted to brawl it out with the other two to see how much they have grown with the special training that they did with Mirrors. And he wanted to see how this Ultra Ego form will hold out against Vegeta's Ultra Instinct and Broly's limitless power in his controlled legendary form. Before they would begin the battle, Raditz would call them over as they have a big problem that they must deal with. Once they would meet up with him, they would see Mirrors as Vegeta would ask what is going on. And Mirrors would explain how a dangerous criminal called Moro escaped their prison and is out on the loose, destroying planets by absorbing its life force so he could get stronger and gain back his magic. He explained how he would have wanted to look for the being known as Majin Buu, but learned how Kakarot was the one who defeated him years ago, so now his best option would be Kakarot, and the two he has been training to defeat Moro. All three of them were excited to face off against this new opponent, but Mirrors did tell him that he is no person to underestimate. Others would ask if they should come along, but Mirrors told them to hold on for now, as he wants to see if they could deal with him with the three he's picked. Now with Moro, in this timeline of events, he would not be heading to Namek like he did in the manga, as in this alternate reality, a lot has changed, especially with the Frieza force being taken down much earlier, as when Cooler attacked the Saiyans to avenge his father and brother, he did gather up the entire remaining forces that his father had to attack the Saiyans, but failed. So Moro would not have Cranberry on his side to tell him about the Dragon Balls. So instead of Moro going to Namek, he would just be going to other planets to steal its life force from them to gain his strength back. And with this universe being more lively with the help of the Saiyans, he would be able to travel through more planets and gain more power. Without Kakarot having instant transmission or the Kai Kai, he couldn't look for Moro to find out where he is, as for right now, they can only wait and follow the trail of destroyed planets that Moro would end up leaving. With the help of the Galactic Patrol and the Saiyans spread across the universe, they would notify once they see a planet being destroyed, and Mirrors with the three Saiyans would end up following that hint. Moro would have roughly enough time to eat 2 more planets after his first one and gain some power back and look a bit less old. They would catch up with Moro and prepare to face him off, but Mirrors tells them that they have to go separately, as once they step on the planet, he could absorb their energy as well. With Vegeta and Broly having been training under Mirrors, they would listen to him. So between the three, they discuss who should go down to face him off. Kakarot would say he should go first, as with his destroyer form, he could be able to erase Moro with the Hakai like he did with Baby, and the others would agree. But Mirrors would refuse Kakarot to use that attack, as if Moro is able to somehow absorb the attack, he could easily surpass all three of them and kill them without effort. Kakarot would say that they have no other choice, as if he can absorb their energy, then they need to kill him quickly, as Kakarot would land down on the planet to the dismay of Mirrors. Kakarot would face Moro and waste no time, powering up into his Ultra Ego form, instantly rushing down at him. Kakarot would be beating him rather easily and didn't think much of Moro. He would shoot a big ki blast attempting to erase him, but his attack disappeared, as this gave Moro a huge boost with how strong the attack was. This shocks Kakarot a bit, but then he would use a Hakai to erase Moro, but nothing came out, as this confuses Kakarot. as he would revert to his Super Saiyan Blue form. Moreau would grow stronger much faster with how much stronger Kakarot is in this timeline. Seeing how quickly this is backfiring, the others would jump in as Mirrors would try to stop them, but wouldn't be fast enough to do so. Kakarot continues to revert until he reaches his base form, with Vegeta and Broly in their strongest form going in to attack Moreau together. They are pushing him back, but can tell how strong he is after almost completely absorbing all of Kakarot's power, knowing that he is absorbing their power as well. Mirrors would pick up Kakarot and bring him back to the ship, telling him that he should have waited and listened, and now Moreau has become a universal threat. Kakarot said that they should get the others, but Mirrors would just say that it would just be bringing him more power to absorb. Kakarot feels at fault, as he thought he was the only one who could beat Moreau, but now he just put everyone in danger, until he hears a voice that he hasn't heard in a long time. Back on the battlefield, the fight begins to get more and more even, with Moreau continuously gathering energy from the two. Vegeta did start to feel more and more tired, as eventually he would lose his Ultra Instinct sign form and would go back to base, but Broly continued on to fight. Vegeta could tell that Broly continued to grow stronger when they were fighting, but he isn't sure how long he could keep it up. He would then hear his name being called, as he turns around to see Kakarot, but not just him, but also Bardock. Bardock would give a hand to Vegeta, saying that he may not like him for what he did to his father, but right now they need to work together to stop Moreau. Vegeta scoffs, saying he doesn't care about what his father has done after abandoning him and his brother, but asks how he is here. Bardock would explain that after his death, even though technically he almost died of old age, King Yima allowed him to keep his body, as it was for him who took care of King Cold and his family and the army, so he allowed him to not be in hell. During his time in the other world, he met many interesting fighters and kept tabs on everyone, seeing them grow stronger and stronger. He too continued to train, and even gained the Super Saiyan God form that his son achieved. With his achievements of taking down King Cold's rule, he met high-ranking gods like the Kais, and even some Supreme Kais. After Kakarot killed Majin Buu, all the Kais he had absorbed million years ago, they too died and ended up in the other world. He did spend some time with the Great Lord of Lords, and when Bardock saw that they were going against Moreau, he grew a bit worried, as he did hear of the story of the Kais fighting against him many years ago. Bardock would question if they could beat Moreau without magic, and the Great Lord of Lords said that it could be possible if they attained enough power to give Moreau that he couldn't handle it. Then maybe. Bardock would hope that they could figure it out on their own, but once he saw Kakarot losing his form, he would rush to Yima and plead to allow him to return to the world of living for a day to help his son. With what Bardock did for the universe, he allowed him for a day, but that is all he gave him. And that's when he would appear by his son in Mirrors. He would tell Kakarot and Vegeta that the plan would be to overflow Moreau with power, and luckily for them, they have a Saiyan that has a limitless amount of power, as he points to Broly, saying he is the key to their victory. They ask what could they do to help Broly, and he says to keep giving Moreau energy as much as they can and hope that Broly could outlast him. With the fight, Broly hears Mirrors' voice in his head, as Mirrors would tell Broly that he needs to tap into the God forms and push himself as much as he can, as he tells Broly that their plan is to have Moreau absorb as much energy until he cannot handle it anymore. Broly isn't sure, as if he's afraid that his power would destroy too much, but Mirrors tells him not to worry, as they could revert any damage with the Dragon Balls. Broly understands, so he begins to power up more, knowing his power is too much, which is why he never taps into the God forms. But knowing the plan to stop Moreau, he doesn't think he has a choice, so he powers up more as the planet begins to break with the amount of energy it's containing. Broly transforms into the Super Saiyan Blue form, and just goes all out on Moreau, letting himself lose control. With this boost in power, he surpasses Moreau for now, but Moreau is still absorbing power from Broly, so it takes a while, but eventually he would catch up to Broly, and now Broly is starting to show exhaustion, but he continues to power up, and good news is that now Moreau's body begins to act strangely, as his body begins to grow randomly, as his body isn't used to containing this much energy. Mirrors would then be in everyone's head, telling them all to power up as much as they can together to overflow Moreau's body with energy. Even though Kakarot and Vegeta cannot transform, they still charge up all the power they have, with Bardock mainly being the one doing the most, as he would power up into his God form, exerting the most energy he can, as Broly does the same, charging as much as he can. Moreau laughs, thinking he is just going to be stronger, but soon realizes that his body begins to expand more and more, as the amount of energy he is absorbing is too much for him, and even the planet begins to break more and more, as it is about to explode. Moreau warns Broly that if he continues this, he and the planet will explode and they would all die, but Broly continues and Moreau would grow. Seeing this, Mirrors grabs his staff, as he times it perfectly, as once Moreau explodes, he would teleport and grab everyone off the planet before that explodes as well, and teleports everyone to another planet nearby, another planet a bit further from the one they were just on, But even then, they still felt the impact of the explosion, as the amount of energy Moreau had was immense, and it destroyed some planets nearby. Bardock would get up, being the only one not completely knocked out, but he knows with how much energy he used shortened his time by a lot, as he needed to return back to the other world. As Mirrors would thank him for helping them, as he told them not to mention it, but asked if Mirrors could teleport him and the others to Planet Bardock, as he wanted to see his family one last time, and Mirrors would do so, teleporting them all to the planet. With them taking care of Broly, Kakarot, and Vegeta, Bardock would go over to see his family, first one being Guinea, as he did miss her. Raditz was shocked to see his father once again and would go to him shedding a tear. He then wanted to meet his grandkids, as he does know everything about them, but to them, it is their first time meeting him. Bardock would be proud of both of them, and give them some advice, telling Bardock Jr. that he may be named after him, but he should want to be his own person, and not to aim just to be like him. He looks at Jaima, as it's looking at a mini replica of himself, especially with the scar on his face. He understands how he feels that he must become greater than his father based on his accomplishments, and knows he could surpass him, but it should not be just about that, and that they both should have their own goals to reach, as he has no doubt that both of them could be great and lead the Saints into a good future. He begins to fade, knowing his time is up, so he hugs his grandkids and looks over to his family, waving them a goodbye, as he tells them that he will meet them again. And that's where I'm gonna leave it off for now. Tell me how y'all think about the 15th part and how I did with the Moreau arc. How did y'all feel about the return of Bardock? What did y'all think of how the Saiyans beat Moreau? Without the Dragon Balls taking a part in this arc, it would be hard for Moreau to take his plan like he did in the manga. And I feel like this would be the best way that Kakarot, Broly, and Vegeta would take out Moreau. Next part would be a bonus part as the finale of this series, and I have a perfect way to end this series. And I wonder if y'all can guess what will go down. What could have happened differently? Leave your thoughts down in the comments down below. I would love to hear them. If y'all are interested and enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to be alerted whenever I post another part. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next part. See ya.